Back at it again, and boy do I have a mess. So I spent yesterday most of the day getting the front end torn out of the Focus. Didn't record anything because I really felt it was going to just be long dragged out of me fighting rusty bolts. Actually didn't go as bad as I thought, which was an awesome thing. Still had a few troublesome ones. I'm not promoting any products, but I can tell you right now, if you have a chance to get a heat inductor, it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches, because this thing came in very convenient getting those bolts out of that front subframe, because a few of them were rotted in there pretty good. So yeah, I've got a massive mess on the floor right now of parts. I had a set of knuckles I wanted to use. Unfortunately, they're out of an 03 and everything changed with the brakes, so I'm going to be stuck using the ones that were in the car. Just need to knock the struts out so I can utilize those. They had good coils in them, unlike the ones that tore out that were broken. So the new subframe, as I posted, that was in. So now it's the fun game of transferring everything over. And of course, in the process, I messed up one of the power steering lines trying to get that all disconnected. So now I'm going to be into it for a power steering line. But I'm going to work on starting to get things assembled all over my floor so I can get ready to start putting things back in. But I still got other stuff I got to do. Now that the subframe's out, I got a brake line that's so much easier to access now that all that's out of the way. And also in process, apparently I found out that something screwed up in our steering column because the steering wheel moves, but nothing else was. So something definitely came apart. We're going to have to dig into that. The more I dig into this car, the more problems I seem to find. But in the process of it, everything's getting fixed. So many brand new parts going into this car. Can't wait to see it out on the track this year. So I'll just show you the kind of mess I'm into right now. So you can see the knuckles that I can't use on this car. I got those all taken apart for the struts that I needed. Got a couple good used CV axles that are going to be going in the car. We had to get those out of the knuckles because they were stuck in there. Here's the knuckles we took out of the car. Got to finish getting those control arm bolts out. I'm going to have to use the heating inductor to get those out because they were rusted right in place. I already snapped one of them. The old subframe that we pulled out of the car, not a lot left to it. That thing had so much rust. It was horrible. Still got to get a mount out of there. Here's our brand new setup. eBay special. Subframe, new control arms. Got our steering rack in place there. So we can start getting a few things at least bolted together and in place so when we're ready to put this back up in the car. And for anyone that's been wondering about Spud, well, he started getting some motivation. He got his exhaust manifold back on. So proud of him. Yeah. He didn't have a potato prep for this one, but one thing he is prepped for, safety third in all the wrong places. Isn't that right, Spud?
That's right.
Yes, he does talk sometimes. Shocking, I know. But, yep, still got some work to do to the Acura. She's a little bit snowed in right now, but it's fine. It still doesn't run. Something about, fuel lines and a fuel tank. But I think we're going to get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Next time, have a potato ready.
That too.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start getting back on these knuckles. Get those old control arms out of there. That way I can start focusing on getting those new struts used struts put back into those knuckles, and I can get fitment done for the front there. See what I can do to maybe drill out the mounts a little bit and get some camber shifted into this car, since not much options other than tilting the subframe over a little bit. Maybe get some new holes drilled and get those struts over so I can get it into a good place for the camber set on the front of this. So that's my next step there. It was 70 degrees a week ago. What happened to the temperature? Anyway, I'm backing in the garage. As you can tell from the last clip, Yeah, things have gotten done. Front subframe and everything's back together. I didn't get any footage of that while I was doing that. Sorry about that. Just didn't feel like being on the camera and just kind of trying to deal with getting it together. But good news is subframe's all back together, new suspension's in. We got our struts modified, so we got some camber in the front of this car, which is great. Still waiting on parts though. I got one power steering line that showed up. I'm still waiting for another one to show up so I can finish up that half of it. Still got to get the steering column out of this and figure what happened. Something disconnected in there, so I got to pull that apart and see what hyperextended. Get that fixed and or get spare steering column figured out and get that in the car. One way or another, this car needs to get steering back in it. Yeah, it's cold. I gotta get the heat going, but still gotta get a door welded on this thing. Haven't done that yet because I have to keep getting in and out of the car still, but I'll be plugging away some more of it today and hopefully get some more done on this car. Alright, so I got the steering column out. I don't know exactly what happened, but obviously no key in it. This doesn't turn. The other side turns all freely. Now, originally on this column, you can tell by the welds on the bracket here, this did have the whole tilt column and slide out column. Everything decided to go potato on me, so everything sprung out. I ended up welding the bracket in place. That way everything was going to be solid mount. I wasn't going to have to worry about anything. Bolted it back up in. Apparently when I welded it, I didn't double check my work on this because I actually didn't figure that it hyperextended, which essentially is what happened. This whole joint has over hyperextended itself, so it'll grab just enough to barely move the steering wheel end, but obviously there's a disconnect in there. So the pain in the ass problem, I gotta get these welds out of here so I can get this bracket moving again. That way I can slide everything back together where it belongs, so this will spline back up in here. That way, once I have that all conjoined again, then I can re-weld this, that it stays permanently in place. So that's going to be the task at hand there. So after a little bit of convincing with a grinder and a screwdriver, got one side popped out. Now we're going to have to keep working at this other side because I put a nice little weld right in there that I got to work my way through so I can get that to pop. And we are good to go. So even us mechanics having a duh moment. So we got this all back together. Now it's all locked in where it belongs. So what happened, like I said, all the internals on this for the tilt column exploded on me when I had it all apart originally. And when I went to put it back together, this bracket that I had welded back here was in the wrong spot. Never double checked myself on that. I thought it didn't look right, and now I know why it didn't look right, because I never actually checked to make sure the steering was working. Which we would have found out very quickly, like we did the other night. So I had to crack all the welds back off that, move this bracket back forward, thus re-engaging our intermediate shaft back up to the steering column. So now that is fully locked back in. It has remeshed internally, because for the life of me, I couldn't find any information on how to pull this whole aluminum housing off. Even the manuals that I have access to gave no information on this to access these inner shafts. But that's fine, we got it all figured out now. So this bracket's going to get bolted into where it mounts up anyway. So now it's going to make sense. We'll have our steering components back. Thankfully, because I really didn't want to have to change out the whole key ignition and the security module on this to the other column. Definitely a pain to do, but if it came down to it, that's what I would have had to do. So, another thing fixed. No extra parts required, which is a wonderful thing right about now. was going to be full of oil still. So yeah, lo and behold, initially when I pulled this out of the power steering, I thought, okay, that kind of looks normal. Until I looked at a diagram of a new hose and realized the very end of this is a little channel for the O-ring. It was stuck in the power steering pump. So, needless to say, thinking I had one good line, obviously, didn't happen. The other one, I mangled it trying to get it out of the power steering pump because it was so badly corroded in there. Fortunately, I was able to get that end piece out of there, and we got the new return line. I'm just waiting for the main pressure one to show up, which won't be until tomorrow. So as soon as that shows up, I can start throwing that bad together. But I still haven't taken out the pressure line yet because that's still in the pump. And trying to figure out how much fun that's going to be getting that rooted around and getting the pressure sensor switch out. Yeah, it's great. But right now I feel good. Got the steering rack, steering column all situated. Thankfully that was nothing major. Was able to get that cinched back in where it belongs. So starting to look more and more like a race car, which is great. I'll be glad when this one's all done and start getting on to the next one, and hopefully soon we're gonna get this Honda motor back together and get that in the Civic. Get that one back up and running normally again. I would have loved to run the Civic last year, but again, after I dropped the oil pan on the backup motor and seeing all the shavings inside, yeah, that motor's tired. It's going to need a full tear down. We're going to have to see if we can salvage hopefully a majority of it, because at this point I know the bearings are shot. It's starting to get a little rappy. If we didn't cook a crank in this one, that'd be awesome, because that was an expensive $700 crank I just had to put in this other block. Other than the fact of the crank's updated design, the rods that I'm putting in are stronger than the factory ones, and I'd like to do what I'm doing to this motor to the other motor, so that way, excuse me, that I have two equal motors. But we're going to have to see what happens. Like I said, so much going on, trying to get so much done at once. So the whole waiting on parts thing right now is what's really slowing down a couple things, and my motivation to work in the cold. Got the heater going, so it's warm out here again. Ugh. So I just put the vehicle on the ground because I know I made the mention about the shock bolt issue, and lo and behold, no change. Of course, where there's no longer any weight in the back of this car, it now sits up higher, plus the fact it's got a newer coil spring in the rear, on the right rear, and a semi-new one in the left rear. Now that the car actually sits up higher because of the lack of weight for everything that's been stripped out of the car, the shocks still won't bolt into their original locations because they still hit my adjustable upper control arms. So this is pretty much where I need to get creative and make a new location to bolt the rear shocks to. Shouldn't be a problem. I've got a couple places in mind that we can get those shocks right attached to. They'll still be there to do their job, and that'll be that. Other than that, sitting it down there, other than the rear camber is all screwed up. Front actually looks good. We got a good tilt out on that left front tire. No. Got to find the semi-full one. Right there. Yeah, because we got to get offsets on this car. Our right rear tire, I can't camber it in anymore or tow it because it is starting to hit into the subframe because of all the new adjustable components. So we're gonna have to run offsets on the car. That way we can get that rear camber into a good spot, get the rear toe set on it. And again, same thing with the front, where we've done so much adjustment, modifying how our camber is going to sit. We're going to offset it so we can get better traction going around the track. So I'm going to have to get creative on that rear side and make something work, that's for sure. Still got to finish putting some e-brake cables in that. Haven't ordered those yet. And to my buddy at Williams Racing, yes, it's going to have a functioning e-brake because, you know, in case of emergency, we like to stop, not plow into something. I'll always give him a shout out. The guy's always razzing me, and I'll always razz him back, and he knows it. He's a good friend. So, yeah, hopefully at some point maybe we'll have some people start showing up in the garage. Kind of just like an impromptu off the dirt episode. Just an guys talking in the garage or whatever. I'm down for that if anyone ever wants to show up. A lot of people know where I live, a lot of people don't. But, yeah, if anyone ever wants to come hang out, I'm right here. So, definitely got to keep going over this car, get a finalized list together, what I still need to do. Still need to finish bleeding these brakes, make sure that clutch is bled out. But I think we're coming right along with it, so hopefully get it done soon, and as you know, more to come.